Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Michael and I'll be your co-host for the rest of the night. But in addition to that, I am the next storyteller. Once I told my friends, I haven't written a story in years, and you're all to blame. You took my desire to write from me, and for that, I love you all. My aspiration for a long time was to be a writer. It's the only thing I could see. It was one of the only things I was doing. In the midst of my darkest days, I'd lose myself in stories. It was all I could see myself doing. And I wrote to lose myself in worlds that I'd created, worlds where I, or my characters, who were also me a little bit, could win. They could stand up and rise against what they were facing. They had the tools, and they faced nothing they couldn't defeat. And that's where I lost myself, in that extension. When I was 6, I was going through a lot of personal troubles. Eventually I started to feel sick all the time. And when you're 6, you don't have the words for that. You've got a tummy ache or a headache, or you need to go to the toilet. You don't have, I'm anxious, I'm sad and I don't know why, except when I'm looking there before time. That's very sad. So we went to the doctor and he said, if you were any older, I'd say you've got anxiety and depression, but 6-year-olds don't get those things. So we'll just say you're sick, we'll call it a tummy bug, we'll do a urine test and send you on your way. 2 years later, I'm 8, and I didn't have the word for suicide yet, but I knew if I was to not be alive anymore, it would be too terrible. I didn't want to be around. I didn't want to burden anyone, and that is also why I didn't talk to anyone about this. There's still parts of a lot of people I know who don't know this story. 8 years of school bullying would follow. My deteriorating mental health cost me my place in advanced education. I was considered a gifted child. I was offered a special placement and a place in Guildford Grammar almost free because of my NAPLAN scores. But I was told at the end of year 10 that I should stop bothering. Just don't come back to high school, there's no point. I'd never make it to university, and this future school that had spent 10 years drilling into me faded away. But that wasn't so bad. The day before year 11 went back, my escape response was screaming, and I cried. I was not going back. I couldn't go back. And I went to TAFE, and I learned how to use computers and build computers, and because I'm an escapist, I played video games, and they were the only time I was happy. I was playing online games, so I still had to pretend I had a connection. And we fought things, and we solved problems that we could solve, that were within our grasp. Because a dragon is way easier than depression, especially when you've got 24 mates with you. Research now reflects that gaming addiction is symptomatic of depression, especially in teenagers who will lose themselves in things that they can handle when the real world is never so simple. For a long time during my teenage years, my one ambition in life, this thing that would happen later when I'm all grown up, is to be happy. And not in some, I'll be happy when I grow up, in some, maybe it'll happen when I grow up. At the time when I quit school, it seemed like running and failure and cutting off of a future. But it was the best thing I ever did. I had the chance to live without stress and pain and daily harassment. And as soon as I left, I could start expressing myself for who I am without risk of being bullied or never living one embarrassing moment down. And I'd made friends along that way, and I met some amazing people who taught me how to handle myself, how to live life, how to deal with a depressive cycle or an anxiety attack, how to recognize a warning sign. I learned about myself, about passion, and about my own values. I genuinely love helping people, and I still don't know how the path I'm on now wasn't obvious to me then, but hindsight is always 20/20. Within 3 years of escapism and growth and learning, I came out of the hole. I started to think about having a future. I stopped writing, and only because if I went back to writing, it's only because I genuinely love to do it. I met the woman who's now my wife, and life started to really look up. I wound up working on a railway team all around WA, from Esperance to Port Hedland. And it helped. I was part of a team again. I could do things. We built things, and that is an amazing feeling of accomplishment to say that you've sweat and you've bled, and there's a railway from Clarkson to Butler now. I had a great boss. I had a fantastic team. But I noticed when I started visiting other teams that it wasn't so good. Mental health in the construction industry is horrible. It is the second highest industry for suicide in males in Australia. And there's advocacy groups, Mates in Construction, who I did courses with, fighting this to try to get people to talk to each other in construction, rather than just telling people to take a cup of concrete and go home. To actually handle things, to help others. And by the time of my last job, when we finished up in Royal, I got offered a choice. I can go to Northern, I can go to Kalgoorlie, or I can not work. And I chose not to work. I chose not to go back. And I enrolled at ECU. And I got knocked back because I didn't finish school. But then they said, you don't have a portfolio, and you don't have an ATAR, do uni prep. And it gave me the skills I needed to come to uni and to build this future that I'd already given up on. At February 2016, I walked onto the Junior Lab campus as a psychology and counselling student. I'm at the end of my second year. I've got a year and a half left, and then another year on top of that, and then I'll be able to become a psychologist. I'm living a dream I never knew I had. I'm living a life I never knew I could have. I still have bad days, and stress still gets to me. And depression is still at the door, but I've learned a lot through my experiences. And I know how to deal with them, and I won't be brought down ever again.